Good evening. I call to order the regular Town Council meeting for the Town of Holly Ridge on September 9th, 2025. Pastor Hildebrand, please come up and do us a favor and do the invocation.
Let us pray. Father God, the creator and sustainer of all things that are and ever will be, Father, we come to you tonight in the name of your Son, the one you gave to be a ransom for many, the one who lived and who died according to the Scriptures, and who rose again according to the Scriptures, and one day is coming back. Father, we come to you tonight in his name, and we want to come to you and ask tonight that you just be with all those that are here tonight. Would you open our ears, open hearts, open our minds. May we be slow to speak and quick to learn. And Father, may all of our speech be seasoned with salt. May we be peaceable with every man, as you've told us to live peaceable with every man. And Father, may we understand that this government was established as a civil government to bring order to a sinful society. And Father, I pray that tonight that we understand that we give unto Caesar's what is Caesar's and unto God's what is God's. And Father, may we just take what is said here tonight and take it and put it in the place that it rightly needs to be. And may we just speak to each other like we're supposed to, how you would have us to do that. But Father, we thank you for all these people. We thank you for this town. We thank you for the people in it. We thank you for the government that you've established. And Father, I pray that you just be over all the actions here tonight. And we'll ultimately give you all the praise, glory, and honor. And it is in your Son, which is the greatest name given among men, whereby we must be saved. We do pray in Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Town Manager, any changes to the agenda?
Yes, sir. If we could, please, in addition to new business, item 11C, on WASA request for council consideration of a support letter to DEQ regarding an amendment of EMC final rules on the discharge of highly treated wastewater.
So we are adding 11C.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. The motion to adopt the agenda as amended. Motion by Councilman Hines.
Second.
Second by Councilman Hall. Any discussions? How do you vote?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Amended agenda adopted. Just a few comments, if I may. I want to welcome everyone here and those that are viewing online. We are still awaiting DOT approval to draw a cable under the Sound Road for better communication speed, but hopefully our viewers online can at least view the council ongoing. We are still trying, but I would like to make the following statement. I want to take a moment to address the important topic that has generated considerable discussion within our community, the proposed annexation. Over the past several weeks, I have heard many of you, including those that are support and those that are opposed to it. After carefully considering the feedback we have received, I decided to remove the annexation public hearing from tonight's agenda. The decision was made to allow time for questions to be answered and for more information to be gathered. As a result, there will be no discussion on annexation on this council meeting. However, to ensure that everyone's voice is heard and the opportunity for everyone to provide us feedback, we have a town hall meeting tomorrow at 6 p.m. at this place. It will be open forum where citizens can ask questions about annexation as well as other important topics relating to the town. Members of the town council hopefully will be here, department heads will be here, and they can provide information and address any questions on any topic regarding the town, not only annexation, but any topic. The developer that had submitted the application will be here in attendance and will give a presentation. All right, now we are going to item 5 on the agenda, person wishing to address the town council. Before we start, I just want to thank you for signing up to speak. The public comment period is not a time for anyone to individual matter to address issues that the council doesn't have any control over. And I would like to ask, in order to maintain decorum, citizens would address comments to the council as a whole, not any individual. This is not intended as a discussion between the citizen speaker and members of the audience. Your questions will be addressed at the end of the meeting, maybe during the council closing comments, and on any matter, and any matter may be referred to myself or the town manager for further follow-up. I respectfully request that the members of the public refrain from engaging in applause, and loud attendee exchange. Each speaker would have 3 minutes, please. So, town manager, could you call the first speaker?
Sir, there is no one signed up for the start of the meeting, public comment period.
Okay, great. We are fortunate to have a guest speaker tonight with us. I want to introduce our guest speaker, Mr. Tom Rollins, President of Gulfstream Steel. Mr. Rollins and the Rollins family as a whole are great friends of our town and one of the most successful business leaders in our community. Tom was instrumental in implementing Camp Davis Industrial Park Phases 1 and 2 over the past few years. I have often met with Tom and sought his advice on our approach to growing our industrial base. We appreciate the Rollins family and all they have done for Holly Ridge. Actually, we have Mr. Tom Rollins and Mr. Bernie Rollins there as well. And thank you, Tom, for being here. And where did you sit? Tom, you have the floor. Sorry, I didn't see you back there.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me to speak this evening. A special thank you to the town mayor, the town council, and the town staff. You are all rock stars to me.
Thank you.
Your service to our community is extremely important. Your investment of your time and energies is valuable. I understand that the service you all render to our community is not particularly well compensated. I doubt many of your salaries cover the mileage incurred driving to and fro these meetings. Please know that the efforts and intents and contributions are valuable and needed and greatly appreciated by your community and neighbors. Thank you for helping to steward and guide the little town that could. Tonight, I would like to talk about the topics of growth, economic prosperity, the inevitable future we face together as a community, and the importance of a good, fair, and well-intentioned governance. Our little town is growing. This is natural. It is healthy. It is helping to secure our future as a very attractive community to live, work, invest in, and enjoy. This growth is driven by multiple market conditions. The primary and most influential of which is location, location, location. Being located just 30 minutes north of Wilmington, 30 minutes south of Jackson and 10 minutes from the attractive and popular Topsail beaches. We are in a prime location for investors, developers, business owners such as myself, residents, and workers to seek opportunities in and near our little town. Economic prosperity for our residents and community as a whole. Prosperity is a quality of life, a reasonable pay scale, diverse and stable employment opportunities, a moderate tax rate, affordable housing options, quality recreation activities, and many more things. Over the past 15 years, our town council and leaders have worked hard and diligently to try and spur growth, increase the quality of life, and manage the costs of governance and success. Thank you for this. We as a community have had much success and a setback or two, but with good and conscientious leadership, the town is on a great path forward. The future, it is coming now. As a small town that is growing, the growth seems to accelerate. A small industrial park, a new gas and convenience store, a new 100-plus unit apartment complex, a new high-end recreational shooting club, 50-plus jobs in the commercial fish distribution industry, 50-plus jobs building high-end boats, 50-plus jobs building and servicing HVAC equipment, some stoplight improvements and turning lanes. Oh my! Our one-stop light town is changing and growing. I hear we may even get an ABC store in the near future. Importantly, it's a rising tide for all boats. Growth is good. Increasing the property and sales tax base is important for increasing the quality of life. Not having to raise tax rates is a nice thing as well. Increasing job opportunities for our community is very important. Increasing revenues help deflect some of the costs of inflation. This enables our leaders to increase the quality and quantity of services they provide to the community. Good, fair, and well-intentioned governance. By law and market force, a small town does not control all things. But a well-intentioned small town council and its staff do have some leverage and can have some inputs and can react and guide some market decisions. Not to say that the town council can steer someone else's business or control investments or market conditions. You can't make other people's businesses' investment decisions for them. That is beyond the scope of reasonable governance. It's a free country and it's a free town. But a well-intentioned, fair, and reasonable town council can have small effects on businesses, employers, investors, and residents during and after their decision-making process to invest here in the little town that could. Set the tone. Be open and available to questions and inquiries. Be welcoming. Ask how we can help. Check in. Ask if everything's okay. Speak clearly and precisely when challenges arise that offer to work constructively to find resolutions that reasonably work for all. Manage and legislate with fair and good intentions. Lean forward on things like sewer, water, roads. Think and act with a vision towards the future on things like state and federal infrastructure grants. Make well-intentioned planning and zoning decisions that raise the quality of life, lower the cost of living, increase the opportunities for the benefit of the town and the community. In closing, town governance is not a sprint. It is not a one-hit home run wonder, nor necessarily is it a popularity contest. It is a marathon. Many small decisions in the right direction for the right reasons. Economic prosperity and a community's quality of life is rarely an accident. Often, economic prosperity and high quality of life are the results of stable, long-term, well-intentioned investment and government decisions. Good governance happens as a result of good management by well-intentioned staff. Good governance most often makes decisions not for the benefit of the few, not the top 10%, not the bottom 10%, but for the middle 80%, and for the betterment of the community as a whole. A sense of doing the right things needs to be deep in the people who are tasked to be our town's administrators. Please know that your neighbors, residents, the business community, and the town as a whole appreciate your time, your efforts, and your contributions. Please continue to help steer the ship with selfless sacrifice of your time and energies. Please know that the growth is coming, and we ask you to make good, sound decisions, big ones, small ones, with the intents of stewarding growth, attracting investment, increasing prosperity, and providing opportunities for all of our community to succeed and enjoy. Please keep up the good work. Call on me if I can help. Humbly and with gratitude, Tom Rollins.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Owen. Okay, we're going forward to item 7, public hearing, item 7A. This is discussion of possible approval of a proposal of the town to convey to the trustee of the Coastal Carolina Community College the real property situated at Camp Davis Industrial Park, Lot 14, Holly Ridge, North Carolina, having an Onslow County parcel identification number of 172022 plus portion of others. The estimated fair market value of the interest to be conveyed is $100,000 per acre. The proposed purchase price of the property is $1.5 million. Town Manager, do you want to add any context?
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. Last month, the town purchased and bought back Lot 14 from UPS. The proposal in front of you tonight is to convey that property to Coastal Carolina Community College. Their intent is to develop a workforce development center to accommodate existing and future industries and businesses. They plan to have a shop and classroom. They'll teach and have trainings for OSHA, equipment use, maintenance use, all different things. And they'll also help to train, they'll work with the business owners within the industrial park to train their workforces. So that is what the plan is for.
Great, thank you. Just one item on this. It's essential to note that as you see, the purchase price of $1 million and selling price of $1.5 million, this was part of our discussion in closed sessions with the council in development of our budget for 25-26. It was discussed. Again, the reason we couldn't publicize it earlier is because of the legal issues that were involved in open discussions. Now, we're going to go, I guess we're going to, could I have a motion to go to public hearing?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Hines.
Second.
Second by Councilman Masiano. Any discussions? How do you vote?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, we are in public hearing. Do you have anybody signed up for public hearing?
Yes, sir. Taryn Carranza. I'm sorry if I said that name incorrectly.
Good evening. My name is Taryn Carranza, and I live at 117 Katrina Street in Sneedsbury. Thank you for allowing me to address the council this evening.
Could you
On the-
speak a little louder, please?
Sure. On the notice for tonight's public hearing, the property in question is described as Camp Davis Industrial Park, Lot 14, plus portions of others. That phrase is somewhat vague, and it raises important questions. What exactly does portions of others include? Are we talking about adjoining parcels, rights of way, or larger sections of land? Citizens deserve a clear explanation of precisely what land is being conveyed. Also, looking at public records, the same parcel was deeded out in 2023 to an LLC tied to UPS, and then we deeded back to town just several weeks ago. In both of those transactions, no title search was performed. We've seen in the past what can happen in our county when properties are conveyed without proper title work. Deeds can later reveal different ownership, lot lines that don't match, and disputes arise that are costly and time-consuming to untangle. This is exactly why municipalities, more than anyone else, should be diligent about verifying titles before selling land. Without that due diligence, Holly Ridge could be exposing itself and its taxpayers to avoidable legal and financial risk. So my questions tonight are straightforward. Exactly what land is included in the phrase portion plus portions of others? Why were no title searches performed in either the 2023 or 2025 transactions? And what safeguards are in place to ensure the town doesn't end up in disputes over ownership or boundaries after this conveyance? Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good evening, Council. Glad to address the questions regarding the legal description and the title issue that was raised. In terms of the property that's being conveyed, our town clerk does have a copy of that contract. It's in your agenda packet. It is portions of adjacent properties. The portion that's adjacent, most notably, was recently subdivided. We intend to put a road in Camp Davis to connect to other portions, and so a remnant portion of a previous lot was included with part of this conveyance. So that's the adjacent portion or the other lots, portions of other lots. In terms of the title question, title work was performed in both transactions. I was the attorney who represented the town for the closing from UPS. What no title search was made indicates is that the title or that the attorney who prepared the deed did not do a title search. So in North Carolina commercial real estate transactions, it is common for a seller's attorney to prepare a deed package. By comparison, a buyer's attorney is the attorney who does the title work. And so when an attorney affixes a statement to a deed that says no title search was done, it is that the seller's attorney did not perform the title search. That's the responsibility of the buyer's attorney, and a title search was performed, and we do have title insurance on that parcel.
What you're referring to is also in Exhibit B, right? Exhibit A1 and A2 that's in
Yes,
our
sir.
package. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Town Attorney. Anyone else has that up?
Yes, sir. Dorothy Royal.
Zora?
Good afternoon and evening. Dorothy Royal, 2101 Victory Lap Lane, Holly Ridge. The other day, in fact, yesterday, I took a drive out to Onslow County to the Government Plaza where they have the Workforce Center that's just been built. It's extraordinary. And I asked all of you to take a trip out there. Because if this is something that Coastal's thinking about putting out here, amen. Because it is fantastic. But I would say this, their government development down there where they have their big businesses and their buildings and the industrial park, they've done something spectacular. They have blended parks in with the Workforce Center. They have made walking trails. They have an extraordinary bike park, which I'd never even heard of before. That included miles of bicycling trail that alternates with jogging trails. I think we're doing this industrial park wrong. I think we have the ability at this point to do great things out there for the community, not just for the businesses that are going out there. Tom Rollins gave a wonderful speech. I love Tom. I've known him for years. I've done business with Tom. But the difference is sales tax doesn't come from companies that sell wholesale. Sales tax doesn't come from companies that make government contracts. Sales tax comes from buildings that are occupied by businesses that sell retail and sell things that the community can use. So when we talk about growth and we talk about bringing rooftops, rooftops don't bring sales tax. They don't generate income for the community. We need restaurants. We need doctor's offices. We need more businesses here, and we have to be way more business friendly. But when you talk about something like the college coming here, that's an asset to the community. That's something everybody here can go and take an evening class at. We can learn something. When your grandkids come for the summer, they can take additional classes. This is something I wish this group was so excited about that they couldn't stop talking about it, instead of the annexation, which I hope falls apart, to be honest. Because if you could just take a few minutes out of your day and take a drive out to the government development there in Onslow County and see how they have done it, that's what we need to be working toward. A mix of benefits to the community, businesses that we can go and buy things from and pay sales tax at, places that we can ride bikes, which, believe me, that land out there is ideal for trails. And it would be a benefit to the community, not just rooftops to a developer and to realtors where they just walk away with their check and they go, well, too bad, you don't have enough schools, you don't have enough of anything else. I think this college is a great first step. I think we need to implement schools in our town before we move on and add another 1,200 or 2,500 homes. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Zora. Anybody else?
No, sir.
Okay, motion to close public hearing?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Marciano,
Second.
second by Mayor Pro Tem Patty. Any discussion? How do you vote?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so we are back in regular session. And let's see the recommendation. I'm going to read the recommendation and then maybe you can add some comments. You want to make a comment now? Or? Okay, the recommendation is action to approve the proposed conveyance of the real property situated in Camp Davis Industrial Park, Lot 14, Holly Ridge, North Carolina, to the trustee of Coastal Carolina Community College. Need a motion to accept the recommendation and discuss. Yes, ma'am.
Before we go, yeah, there's a point of clarity I think we need to discuss on Exhibit B, where it says that it's requiring a lift station. The original contract, if I believe, was a grinder station, not a lift station. Do we know if the intention of Exhibit B is supposed to be a grinder station versus a lift station?
Sorry, we're sharing tonight. It is what I believe to be, it should be a grinder pump, not a lift station.
Okay, so that correction would need to be corrected on Exhibit B, and we are using a contract dock that's over 4 years old. So if we're going to make any changes, I highly recommend that we come to a current contract, 2025, July, of a real estate forum.
Town Attorney?
So we do intend to update to the most recent publication of the form, I understand from our broker. Additionally, a point that we would need to add is one of the considerations for this council in all previous transactions has been that we have a provision where if the property is not developed in accordance with the plans as submitted to the town, that we basically have a right of first refusal to repurchase it. It's what amounts to a clawback provision. We have the right to repurchase it at the same price as we sold it at to ensure that we are in compliance with the grants that we've received and that the industrial park does move forward in the spirit and intent that it's intended. And so our recommendation and our request this evening is if you do move forward, that you direct staff to add the deed restrictions that we've included in the previous deeds.
Mayor, I got a question in line.
Okay, please.
The grinder pump, is that going to be on the town property or is it going to be on their property? On their property.
I believe it would be on their property, but it would be in the, I guess, what would be determined as the right-of-way.
Okay, who's going to be responsible for maintaining it?
I don't know that that's been addressed. Has it, Sproul?
My knowledge is going to be the town that was supposed to put that in as we finished out the cul-de-sac. Now that it's going through, we still need that pump, and I believe that is one of the differences the town made for the development phase.
So we'd be maintaining it,
Yes, sir.
even though it would be turned over to Onwassa, the system will be turned over to Onwassa.
The grinder pumps are private.
So they'd be private.
Yes, sir. So it would be maintained by the town.
Okay. I would think the owner of the property be the one that was maintaining them.
We could certainly take that back, since we're doing revisions.
Mr. Spruill, if you don't mind, can you come up and clarify, because I do think this was a part of the original industrial park plans, and we just need some clarity.
Yes, sir.
Can you talk more about this 50 by 50 lot that is separate in regards to the origination history of the industrial park phase 1, phase 2, and that portion was supposed to be a grinder pump with the original plan, and therefore the town is going to stay consistent with its existing plan moving forward?
Yes, and I will admit you're taxing my memory on the details of that,
Okay.
but we will go back and confirm with the previous contracts what was in the documentation and come back with verification. My recollection, though, is that that was a grinder pump. That is one that the town would maintain, and it was put at that particular location due to the elevation of the soils and the flow coming out of there. And as we extend Betty Taylor Wood through Lot 15, and the remnant of 15 goes with Lot 14, this was to be up on the northwest side of that cul-de-sac, right at the edge, in the right-of-way of Lot 14.
Okay.
And there's one last revision that we're going to be talking about, or working through, is there is an area between lots 13 and lots 14, which was previously considered wetlands that we believe may yield some value in the future. And therefore, we have the community college agreeing to an access there for us to access that area of property in the event that in the future it may yield some value for the town.
Is this something we should get completely clean?
Yes, sir, we're going to clean all this documentation up. What we're asking tonight, if I'm not overstepping my bounds, I believe we're asking the council to approve the sale of the property, and we've got some cleanup to do in the paperwork.
You good with that?
So essentially we have done this with contracts in the past where what the council directs is you tell us what those business terms are that deviate from what appears on the contract right now. And then as agents for the town and myself as a fiduciary, we would then go and ensure that the contract aligned with the terms that the council had approved at this hearing.
So do you want to make a motion?
Anyone else have any questions?
I'm a little
I mean, I'm kind of agreeing with Phil here. We're agreeing to a contract that's not the correct contract. Is that what you're saying? And we're agreeing to accept it without it being the proper information and proper, I guess, information. That's what I'm getting at here. That we have to make changes after we approve it.
So what it would be is that your approval is of specific business terms, not that you're approving an incorrect contract, but that you are approving specific business terms, and the contract that is then executed would be the correct document. So just like we wouldn't execute a contract without you approving it, we would just make those business terms match.
So that new contract needs to come back to the council?
If you give us the business terms and you authorize the sale subject to essentially final review by the town attorney, then I would ensure that that contract was in line with what the council had approved before it was executed.
Yeah, any deviation of that, you would have to come to us anyway.
Yes, sir.
Correct.
Any deviation from, essentially, you approve this contract, you tell us what you want to change, and we will make them match.
I'm trying.
Were we not aware of these things? Like, did Councilman Misiano just make you all aware of these?
I was reading through it today, so this is, again, the real estate brain, so I just trying to understand the real estate piece.
So this was a proposal that we received from the community college. Discussions between myself, Sproul, and Heather yielded the modifications that were required. We brought the contract as proposed, and the council has the legislative decision-making authority to accept our recommendations as the professionals that serve you, or to accept the contract as it was proposed, but both Sproul and I have an ethical obligation to present you with offers as they're presented to us.
Correct. I just want to make sure if I do make a motion, I get the amendment correct. Can you keep me straight?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Because I'll make a motion to approve that we amend to bring contract current to current date, July 2025. And then also the lift station gets modified to the grinder pump, because I know there's a significant cost difference between a lift station and a grinder station.
Yes, sir.
And I believe that is
And
all
then-
that was jumping out at me.
Adding the reservation of an easement for access, and then also incorporating the deed restrictions from previous conveyances.
She just said that.
So the three items,
3 items.
The, 4 of them.
4 items, right. So we approve, the motion is to approve the business terms with the 4 items being addressed by you.
Yes, sir.
second it.
Second by Councilwoman Hall. Any more discussions? How do you vote?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, going to item number 8, Town Manager Report.
Thank you, Mayor.
You have the floor.
Thank you. Recently, we have experienced challenges with the ball field lights, with our locks being cut, damage to our equipment, and just overall confusion with our current key and lock system. We would check the keys out and not have them returned. So many issues. Parks and Recreation Director Rachel, she found a outdoor link program, and that will enable the Parks and Recreation team or Public Works to manage the new ball field lights through a mobile app, allowing them to set timers, and all without needing to be physically present. So that is an upgrade that we are doing in the park to the ball field lights, so that should be coming soon. The Liberty Festival and Hometown Heroes event was a huge success this year. We've received a lot of positive feedback back from the community. Participants love the addition of Touch-A-Truck, and with this addition, I heard from many people that it really gave the festival a very wholesome, patriotic feeling throughout the day. New this year were also the carnival rides, and we were able to retain our original fireworks vendor that we had not been able to use since 2019. And you could definitely tell, because the fireworks show this year was amazing compared to the previous years. For the most part, the street repair project in town, that's the $2 million street improvement, is complete. They are working on the shoulder rehab, driveway tie-ins, and remaining work on North Jenkins Street Extension. So that work will continue over the next couple of weeks. We did come in under budget and ahead of schedule. New this year, that Parks and Recreation is kicking off is the Zombie Fun Run. It's going to be held on October 23rd. It's 1.25 miles in your best zombie or bee or combination costume. At the end, a spooky trunk or treat here at the community center with local businesses. Please spread the word. No one has signed up. The information has been out for a couple weeks now, and there are no participants. Kind of rolling into that, another event we have coming up is Teen Night. This is something new for the town. We heard from many people that there was nothing for the teenagers to do. So we have created Teen Night. It will be held September 19th here at the community center. I understand there will be dodgeball, pizza, and other games. It will be 6 to 9. Unfortunately for this, no one has signed up for this event either. It is important that the community participate when we offer these programs so that we can justify continuing to offer the programs. We want to make sure that the programs that we are creating and running are fitting to the community's wants and needs. And so these programs that are being created, such as Cornhole, that's new this year, and Pickleball has returned, it just started back. Toddler Time, Movies in the Park, we're not seeing the participation that we had hoped. So if you could spread the word with your neighbors, your families, your friends, it would be greatly appreciated. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Heather.
Town Manager, I have a couple of things I'd like to ask you, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
I know we have been talking about how to reach constituents and residents that are not on Facebook. And I know the big thing was the garbage can swap, okay? I know the conversation has been to mail out the Buzz newsletter. Do you have costs of how much that's going to cost to mail out the Buzz newsletter to everyone? Because I've been asking and I haven't got any numbers.
Sure. So for one mailing to every resident would be approximately $1,200.
So, the Buzz is full of good information. My suggestion was just a one-pager of the important information, like the information about garbage collection, maybe utilities, important phone numbers. The second suggestion is, can we do some type of one-pager and ask people to select or say, yeah, I would like a mail-in version of the newsletter. I don't know how, is this a one-time mail-in? Is this we're gonna do it for a certain amount of months? I just don't see why this entire newsletter should be sent out to everyone all at once. My fear is people are gonna get it and be like, oh, okay, or they see it online. Can we be more direct to the people who may need it, a physical copy, and send a one-pager of the important information and say, hey, if you'd like to opt into this newsletter, can we opt into that? And I know 1,200 doesn't sound a lot, but my brain always functions, well, it's 1,200 here, then it's 2,000 here, 5,000 here for something else. So just because we have it in our budget doesn't mean we have to spend it. So something to consider. 'Cause I'm not sure if the Buzz and all the business ads and kind of the fun stuff really needs to go out all the time. And I think you floated 4 months to do this. I don't know how long we're doing this. So that's 4 months times 1,200, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Where's the complaints coming from that people aren't getting the information? I mean, I went on the website today, there was the Buzz.
Yes, sir.
It's on the signs throughout the town there. Where are the complaints coming from about the trash pickups and the recycle pickups? I mean, if they're coming from the neighborhoods of Holly Ridge, we got our president there, he put stuff out there on the website of that. So, I mean, where are the complaints coming from that people don't know when they look outside their neighbors and they see the blue can, the black can out there every Monday? So where are these complaints coming from that has brought this particular issue to a head?
Sure. So the garbage and recycling is just one aspect of what we've heard lately. We've had, how many phone calls just this week so far? At least 100 or 200 phone calls this week that no one knew anything about the cart swap out. So to answer your question, we're getting calls at the Liberty Festival. Several people approached our staff and complained that they don't know what's going on in town. They don't know how to find the information. To address your point, Mayor Pro Tem, we have put out for a couple months now signs and QR codes and every opportunity we can for people to sign up to receive the buzz by mail. Mayor and I were in a meeting with the MARSOC commander, and one of the guys with him said, well, I still thought recycling was on Fridays. I had no idea it moved to Monday at the beginning of the fiscal. So it's just overall, we're receiving comments. So this was simply a suggestion. We hear it on Facebook that we don't share information well with people who are not tech savvy or on Facebook. So that's just where the suggestion came from.
So for big things like this garbage swap was huge, it's huge. It affects the entire town. This is where once or twice or 3 times a year, we send out a one-page, a mailer. Because I think we approached TFL to do this. They said no, correct?
Yes, sir.
We approached, did we approach anyone else? I think you said we approached on WASA as well to put it on
Yes,
the bill.
yes.
And they said no. So
That's
after
correct.
those 2 no's, the next thing should have been, hey, let's send out a letter to those who don't see it on Facebook. And that's what my suggestion is. I call these the big things. Everything, we can't send everything out to everyone who's not online. But the garbage, or I think I suggested, do we have magnets for like the utilities, emergency service phone numbers? I think you said we had those. These are the things that we can send out once, 2, 3 times a year, or once a quarter at minimal cost. And that's the information people are talking about. Would it be nice if they would get a flyer about movie in the park? Sure. Is that necessary? Probably not. So that's my intention of this. If we do the buzz for 4 months, are we going to do it forever? Do we stop after 4 months and then what? And then we're right back to where we are. So I don't want to spend $5,000 if we don't have to, or we can kind of directly target when we have to send things out to those people who are not online. That's what my point is.
Now, would the one pager cost less, or would it be the same bulk rate? I mean, I like saying, I understand that people, but how much information can we give out there? And really, the truth of the matter is, if it comes in the mail, it's going to go in somebody's trash can.
Well, at some point too, I would say this, that the public and the citizens have a responsibility on their end
Right.
for checking and keeping up as well. We can post it and put flyers out and put pamphlets out, and if they're not looking or don't know where to look, they may not find it. So mailing was just,
No, I don't have an issue. I just wonder if we do decide to go like to a one pager. Is it still going to be the same $1,200, you think?
no, sir, there would definitely be a cost difference. The buzz is, I think this month it was around 12 pages.
Right.
So we could condense that down, maybe take the flyers out. Just a suggestion.
Okay.
I have a couple other questions. They're quick. I'm sorry.
Sure.
You said the bus stop signs came in. Yay. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And I know you said you were going to talk to Mike.
Yes, sir.
Mike, installation of the bus stop signs. What's the plan?
Can you come here, Mike? Can you come to the microphone?
The bus stop sign had arrived this morning, notified Heather, waiting to compile a list. We've got where the bus stops are, but we want to obviously put them before the stop. I'm sure we're going to face some challenges that it's going to be in the right-of-way of somebody's front yard. We'll just have to deal with the obstacles as we come, but those should be up within the next 2 weeks, I would hope.
Do you have the, I don't know what they're called, the poles? They're not
Yeah,
poles,
The poster and the hardware has already been purchased.
Okay.
We've just been waiting for the signs. The sign took the longest to fabricate, so we're ready to roll.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. My next question is, we approved the grant writer. Is there any movement on that? About job posting for the grant writer we approved for this budget? Or are we waiting for Withers Ravenel to give us their grant writing plan? Like, where do we stand
Yes.
for this grant writer?
So Withers Ravenel is prepared to present us with the funding strategy that they have created. We should have that deliverable over the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
And then from there, we should be able to begin advertising.
And let me elaborate on that. When we discussed meetings during the planning side, when we were doing the strategic plan, we decided to have a grant program before we hire anybody. That would be the roadmap for a grant writer to work. And on many occasions, we have talked about that the program has to be done first before we get a grant writer to do the work. The program should have a draft of it probably next week, and we'll share it with the council. And then once the grant program is approved by the council, that will staff it properly. Does that answer your question?
Yes, I was just looking for a timeline, so thank you. Last one. With the municipal park and moving forward the municipal park, council approved the sponsorship program. Are we moving on that at all? To create some kind of corporate sponsorship program? Are we doing work on that? Are we?
I believe it's, Rachel, if you'd like to address that, please.
Yeah, so as you know, we've been waiting on Part F. We're waiting to hear back from that to get the final results. And once that's approved, we can see where we're at financially and then go from there. There's some other grants too that I've been looking at as well for inclusive playgrounds and things, so.
You have the sponsorship program put together already with the levels.
Yeah, it'll just
So
need to
there
be-
has, yes, they
It's
have
been
been
work,
working
for
towards
sure.
that.
So the sponsorship program's not dependent upon the Part F grant,
No,
correct?
it's not.
Can I see the sponsorship program? Like, you have a draft of it or something?
I believe it's still in the works, but yes,
Yeah,
It's kind of my baby, so, you know,
yeah, for sure.
if I could take a look at it,
Yeah,
that'd be great.
absolutely.
Thank you. All right, that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, I want to go back to the communication plan. When the council worked on the strategic plan, and I hope that every one of you get a chance to read this, because the council put together a number of objectives and initiatives. A lot of work went into this. One of the areas that we are focusing on is improved communication with the citizens. There are many ways to do that. Certainly Facebook is one of them. But again, not everybody has access to Facebook or websites and so forth. So I think, and you know, there are a lot going on every week and every month in town. A one-pager condensed may not be sufficient to keep the citizens involved. I think on the trial basis, we need to do some mailers, although I understand the cost, but then we'll get feedback at the end of that period to see if we have reached out more people. We have population of 5,700 in Holly Ridge, and we probably have less than half of them that are easily accessing Facebook or the website. So my recommendation to the council is to, for a period of time, maybe 4 months period, to try to mail out the buzz. The buzz has a lot of good information, and Amber has done a fantastic job trying to put that together. Maybe we would even consider, just like newspapers, sponsorship, so we can offset some of that cost. Sponsorship by restaurants or businesses in town, since we want to grow their business as well. So my recommendation to the council, and it's really up to the council, not me, to go on trial basis to distribute the buzz, along with all the other things we are doing to improve communication. Amber, as our public information officer, has done a fantastic job on Facebook and our webpage, but that's not enough to reach everybody. So I leave it up to the council to make that decision.
Well, I got a question. Instead of doing it for 4 months, couldn't we do it for 1 month and put in there, if you want to continue receiving this, sign up to receive it, and then that'll basically do what Councilman Patty said as far as getting input from people, but also we won't have to, if they sign up, they'll get it. If not, they won't, and it's on them then. If if they don't want the communication, it's on them because they didn't sign up. So couldn't we do this for 1 month and see if we get any response for 1 month?
Yes, sir. I would say any compromise, any output that we can give would be helpful in some form or fashion.
I
And
mean,
Amber
just-
is working on a method on our webpage to have different ways of doing that. For example, our strategic plan is going to be online with a paging tool to be able to go through it. Maybe we can do the same for the buzz and do what Councilman Hines suggested, do 1 month and ask people to provide feedback.
I agree with both Greg and Josh on this one. Like, I think we have to hit all mediums just to say we're hitting the mark.
So,
I mean, okay, well, it was just a question. I'm
No,
not-
it's good. It's a good question.
I still think we should take out I call it fluff. There's a lot of fluff. And that's why it's a digital newsletter. You put fluff in it. If we can make it, I don't know. My fear is, what if the town, a lot of people will say, yeah, I want it, and now we're on the hook for $1,200 a month, or $1,000 a month, or $800 a month.
We put it in the budget.
They put it in the budget. Well, there you go.
I think also too, Amber's done a really good job of creating mailing lists as she's been building all of her contact groups. So there's, a sunshine list, business owners list, HOAs list, and she has done that with the buzz as well. And that's the information that we've been putting out. The team is really good about grabbing people when they come in the lobby to make sure that they're receiving it, and if they're not, they can sign up. So I think in whatever we decide to mail, we make sure that very large and prominent is, you can sign up to receive this, to receive the buzz at your home through snail mail, but you have to sign up. And I think that would mitigate a lot of those issues.
How many people have signed up for the sunshine list, right? You got
Sunshine list?
How many people is it?
As of today, I'm at 34 people. And I just started pushing that. There were 15 people that were on it before I made a QR code.
Okay.
And I have started pushing that on the website, at the Liberty Festival, and through various other forums, including the Buzz. So really pushing people to sign up for the Sunshine List, because I am emailing everything I post on Facebook to everyone on the Sunshine List. If you don't know how to sign up for it, you can call me at Town Hall. I will give you your information.
Thanks.
Mayor, the unfortunate side of this whole thing is it don't matter what we do, somebody's going to say, I didn't get the information.
Yep.
And so we're trying our best to make sure everybody does get it, and there's things we've got to do to figure out what's the best way to do it. I'll give it to Amber. She has jumped on this thing, but let's give it a month and see if we can work out something different and do better. But it's still not going to solve the problem, because we're going to still have those naysayers out there. I didn't get it.
That's fine. I like to opt in. You put the onus, let's put the onus on them as well. It's the residents to say, hey, yes, I want this, because like Walter said, we often get things in the mail and say, we're going to throw it away. So let's, if you want it,
do
say, hey,
1
I want
month. So your thing is 1 month with some sort of feedback process? Okay.
Before you move on,
Initially, I was opposed to it until I thought about it a little bit, and we need to give it a chance. We just need to give it at least a chance.
Okay.
Pam has something.
Heather, back to the roads. You said it was pretty much 100% complete and under budget, under schedule, before schedule. Is the maintenance program in place? And that was part of the deal, that there would be a maintenance program that says what's going to be done on each street each year?
Yes, ma'am.
So
I'm sorry.
if I'm living on a street where there was, part of the road was worked on and the part of it wasn't. So my assumption is that this part of the road was in good shape, and so it's on the schedule to be sealed or tested or something in the near future, or at least in that plan.
Yes, ma'am. So what we did was, all the streets that were considered in the red, meaning they needed the most attention, those were the roads that we included in this first batch, which is a $2 million project. Also included in that is the slurry seal for some of the other roads that are newer and weren't original town roads. And that will extend the life of those streets for approximately 10 years. So right, when we finish this completely out, we make sure the punch list is done and everything is to all the citizens' satisfaction, because we have received a lot of calls about the paving project too, with the driveways dipping off, and then, of course, the apron when you pull into businesses and things like that. So the shoulder rehab and the driveway tie-ins are a big thing right now. So once all of that is completed, then we will go out to RFP, request for proposals, to move forward with the slurry seal contractor. So we'll have another batch of streets that will receive that slurry seal. And then we also have the money that we received from POW bill that will go into the action plan for patching and paving that we do in-house to save on cost. And then Withers Ravenel has also put together a maintenance plan that will be brought to the town council for consideration.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mayor, I got a question on mine too. I was really disappointed Sanders Street didn't have something done to it. It's one of the heaviest traveled streets in town because people cut through there, and it's rough.
I can't wait to say this.
Go ahead.
It's going to be paved.
Anytime
We
soon?
we added it today. There was enough money to go back and add it. It was one of the streets that we as staff had marked in the red that Withers had not agreed with. I believe they had marked it in the yellow. But with all the patches that we had done on that street specifically, it could definitely use a mill and fill. And since we were under budget, we were able to slide that in. So when the crews come back for the North Jenkins Street extension work, which is a portion that they have to come back for paving, they'll complete Sanders.
Does North Jenkins go outside the city limits, or does it stop at the city limits where we pave?
It stops at the city limits.
Okay. Now, getting back to Sanders Street, though, a lot of those people over there were happy the roads got paved in that area, but then they said, but now we got to get on Sanders Street.
Yes,
So
sir.
I'll be glad to be able to tell them that.
Mike McFadden recognized that, as well as you, and so we reached out to the contractor and asked for an estimate for it to be paved within this batch, and we were able to do that because we came in so under budget.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Heather, one last question. Can you talk to the website in regards to where we're at with that for completion?
Yes, sir. Actually, Amber could probably speak a little better to that. Amber, do you mind?
Yeah, good. Thank you, Amber.
This is Amber Ward. She is our Public Information Officer.
First time coming up to the podium.
Hi, guys. As far as the website goes, I took point on the website just because there are so many different projects kind of going in multiple different ways. So I felt that it was better to go through one set of hands, and then I would translate that information through to town manager, anyone else that it needed. Right now, I'm working on the final stages of producing any information to kind of fill in any gaps. So we're looking for hopefully the beginning to middle of October, should all of our meetings and module rollouts go through smoothly with GovPilot. GovPilot's who we're using to transition from PDF forms into some interactive forms, which is going to give our residents, our potential customers, the ability to go on and not have to download a PDF, edit the PDF, save it, and then email it back. This way, you'll be able to log on to whatever form it is that you wish to complete or go forward with as far as permits, and you'll be able to fill it out right then and there. You'll send it, it'll go over to the correct department, and then from there, you'll get a follow-up notification letting you know that it's been received, kind of what the status is. So those are the fine little kinks we're working out, but hopeful to beginning to middle of October.
Are we still under budget, even with the addition of the server? Still under budget for the website?
Yes, sir.
Do you know how much?
I'm sorry, I don't, and Chuck had senior night with his son, so I did not require him to be here tonight.
Okay,
I can get that information for you tomorrow, though.
please do.
And I'll post that information as well in my What's Up Wednesday post that I make on Facebook to kind of recap everything from the meeting as well, so everyone can see it. Anything else from me?
No, thank you, Amber.
Thank you.
Yep, you're very welcome.
Thank you, Amber. Just to follow up on that, also, you're good. I just wanted to add a couple things. The GovPilot software, because when you purchase it, you purchase modules as a group. So we had to purchase 20 modules. Community development took up about 4 of those modules. And so there were a remaining 16, and we meaning Margaret, Amber, and myself, have gone through their whole catalog of modules, and we've picked out some that we really think are going to help the town citizens. There's going to be report of concern. So if you see a street light out or a pothole in a road or your neighbor has really tall grass, you can go right online and submit it, and it will get routed to the right department. We're also going to have where you can apply for boards and committees online and be able to track the sitting members. It'll have their terms so that you know when someone is coming off of a board if you're interested in serving. There's also an emergency management module, and the 3 of us have training every other day for the next 2 weeks in 3-hour windows. So there'll be more information coming out once we can really get in there and see how those modules work.
Thank you.
It really looks good. It's going to be very impressive. Any more questions for the town manager? Okay, thank you, Heather, and your team is doing a magnificent job with everything in every department. Thank you so much. Please pass my thanks to them.
Thank you.
Okay, going to item 9, consent agenda. The council has seen the consent agenda, so I'd like to have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Hines,
Second.
second by Councilman Marciano. Any discussions?
Real fast. I noticed Turkey Creek Volunteer Fire Department is on it this time. Is there a reason why?
Yes, sir.
I haven't noticed them on the consent.
So that was actually Margaret, the town clerk, who brought up the point, well, we have Holly Ridge, but we don't have Turkey Creek. So she reached out, and they were happy to provide the stats.
Okay.
Since we do have almost the same contract with them, not exact, but we do contract with them for fire service.
Yeah, it's good to know how often they respond.
Sure.
To Holly Ridge.
Definitely.
Any more discussion?
No.
Okay, we've had first and second and no discussions. How do you vote?
Yes.
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 Okay, thank you. Consent agenda approved. Okay, we do not have item 10, we don't have any old business in item 10. We're going to item 11, new business, 11A, discussion and consideration of a proposed resolution authorizing local government execution of resilient coastal communication grant contract. Town manager?
Thank you, Mayor. This resolution provides the Community Development Director or myself to execute the documents associated with the RCCP grant that was awarded to the town back in July. It's a grant for $150,000 with no match requirement, and this grant will be used for the design and feasibility of the sidewalk system within the municipal park.
Thank you, Town Manager. The recommendation is to action to approve the proposed resolution authorizing local government execution of a Resilience Coastal Communities Grant Contract.
I make a motion that we approve the proposed resolution authorizing local government execution of a resilient coastal communities grant contract.
Second.
Second by, motion by Councilman Marciano, second by Mayor Pro Tem. Any discussions?
Yeah, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
This is for within the park. It's not to get down Marsh Landing, right?
That's correct. The Morris Landing project is already under design and feasibility.
Okay, are we going to have any plans to connect our neighborhoods like the village, neighborhoods of Holly Ridge to the main part of town?
Yes, sir.
Is that in the plan? And
That's-
also something to connect Marsh, Preserve's residents with Marsh Landing itself? Because I'd like to see sidewalks connecting these residents instead of running a sidewalk 2 miles down the road. Let's connect our neighborhoods as much as we can, and then worry about a 2-mile stretch outside of town.
Yes, sir. So within the adopted master park plan is the sidewalk system, and it actually, towards the back, I believe it has a map that shows how each annexed area of town will be connected. There's actually some sidewalks and trails planned for the state game lands that are back on the back roads. So we could definitely share that so everyone's aware.
I mean, there's areas in town that we don't have a sidewalk that the people in town here can't even come walk to the park, walking down the roadside of roads. So we need to make sure everybody's got access as we go.
Yes, sir.
So in combination with the multi-use path and this, we should be able to do that, and sidewalks eventually in town.
Yes, sir. So the Highway 50, we received a grant for the design and feasibility for that. Town council executed a contract at the same time for the Morris Landing feasibility and design due to the cost savings. It didn't make any sense to split them up. It was a significant savings of approximately $50,000. And then those two projects will be connected by a sidewalk multi-use path on North Dyson Street. So that will connect Highway 50 over to Sound Road. And then the hope is that this, what's on your agenda tonight for the municipal park will then feed into the highway, the Sound Road connection, which would then go to Morris Landing at some point.
So,
And we have discussed with the county on the parts of the multi-use path that is in the state and county that they would help us with the development of it once the design is completed, because the council approved the design of the multi-use path through the county and state property.
Yes,
So
sir.
we are going to ask for county help to build the parts that are not in town.
now I
Yes,
got
sir.
another question as far as, we had talked with Surf City and they were talking about connecting at the county line, but in their sidewalk plan, they don't have any plans for that. Is that still an idea that they're proposing, or where do we stand on that?
It is still an idea that they're proposing, it's just not within their current phases. Like you mentioned, they're more interested in connecting their corporate limits together before branching out.
That's a good idea.
Yes, sir.
Any more discussion? Okay, if you have first, second discussion, how do you vote?
Yes.
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 Okay. Thank you. Item 11B, discussion of consideration of a social media acceptable use policy to set parameters in which local government entity can properly police social media without infringement upon any rights. So town manager and our attorney, any
Yes, sir.
comments?
Thank you. So the recent activity on the town's official social media page has resulted in increasingly inappropriate and potentially defamatory comments being posted by members of the public. Currently, we do not have a written policy that addresses these types of issues. Within your packet, we have included a couple of blog posts from the School of Government, as well as the comment policies for town of Elon, Wake Forest, Pender County, and Mecklenburg County, which Mayor Pro Tem Patty provided in his research. So tonight, Mayor Pro Tem requested for this to be on the agenda, and it's for discussion. Corey has reviewed the presented policy by Mayor Pro Tem and has some feedback, so I'll turn it over to her.
Can I clarify something before you begin? My intention of this, first of all, is to not start with controlling comments. It's about creating a purpose for the town page and setting guidelines and setting some kind of basis for rules. And then that purpose sets a foundation for respect of the town page. The town page gives information, okay, and interacts with the public. Now, when I wrote the policy, it was asked to do so, just write a draft. This is not my profession. I just kind of use what I could find and put something together. I do believe town manager wrote one too. My intention tonight was to direct you and staff to write a policy in conjunction with the town attorney. And I'm also going to suggest you reach out to Professor Christy Nicodem of UNC School of Government. She's the one that provided the blog posts, and I spoke to her. And also come up with some kind of training for a social media manager that can do this correctly. So you're more than welcome to give feedback on what I wrote, but that wasn't my intention. It was to vote on an actual policy tonight. It is to kickstart, write in the policy, and getting it done perhaps for next meeting or something like that.
And if I could make a comment, when we were talking about this via email, I suggested that someone, even Josh, because he had already started the conversation and he had done a lot of research, to put together like a straw man proposal that we could talk about instead of talking about the philosophy of whether we needed one or not. Sometimes we get in the weeds of, do we want one? And we never get around to saying, what do we want in it? I think that is something that we all want it. We want something. But the other thing is we want our town staff to be comfortable in what they decide. If you're asking Amber or someone to monitor the page and to engage in the page, they have to feel comfortable with it too, so that they're not under constant attack or under a legal issue if they do something wrong. So that was one of the reasons why I suggested Mayor Pro Tem Patty that he get a start on it, because he had already done so much work, and that we did absolutely need some kind of policy.
You have the floor.
I was going to just start by asking what the will of the council is. To the extent that you would like for me to comment on what's been proposed, I'm glad to. To the extent that you'd like education regarding what our responsibilities are on social media, I'm glad to do that as well. So I'd just like to know the will of the council in terms of what you would like for me to say, or if your request is just for me to interact with staff and for us to propose a policy that we feel would be most in line with legal precedent and with this council's direction.
I think that's, let you and the staff take care of that, because either way, we write 5 different programs you guys put together, and then we'll chop it up from there.
Yes, sir.
I guess the question is, do we want to put the burden of deciding what's appropriate or not on a town staff? And that's really a fine line here.
There's enough information that's been provided across all the channels and the email strings that we clearly can come up with our own policy. And the one that you drafted and the one that he drafted, it's clear it matches, aligns with what other municipalities have been doing. So we absolutely need to have one. It just goes down to when do we want to put it into effect as well. And then what do we do moving forward today, given that if we don't have a policy today, that means somebody in the room says, hey, there's going to be a policy, let's just jump out and start saying some evil things tonight before they cancel it.
Yeah, and that's an excellent point. Any proposal that staff or I have will need to come before this body to approve, because you ultimately have that final approval authority. I will say there are some topics that were included in the proposed policy that we would regulate that I will likely suggest that we don't regulate for a variety of reasons.
Correct.
But at that point, I'm glad to discuss the reasons that those topics were omitted if council would like for us to do that.
We just want to be concerned not to turn off. We've been begging for people to talk.
Yeah.
Talk to the town and give your opinion, and now we're getting some opinions. Of course, we're getting some nasties, but we don't want the discussions to stop. So I'm reluctant to just say all or none, turn it all off. That concerned me when I read it in some part, that you could actually turn the comments off, and I thought, I've been begging them to write something. We're all asking people to be involved, and then we shut the door when they start saying things that what we think might not be appropriate.
Well, and to that point, I believe that staff's recommendation to that end was when we believed that the conversations reached a point where they were not conducive to public involvement. It was really a protective measure to ensure that the conversation was conducive. I don't think the intent was ever to leave them off permanently, but just to ensure that those conversations were healthy and respectful of all citizens.
Are any of these posts criminal in nature? Or are they just strictly, there's no libel or slander or anything like that? Are they is anybody being threatened?
So libel and slander would be a civil action, and certainly individuals could choose to pursue that if there were libelous or slanderous statements that were made. But there also could be criminal action. For example, if someone were to make a statement that threatened imminent lawless action or incitements to violence or threats to someone's life, and I'll defer to the police chief who's sitting across from me, but certainly that could rise to the level of criminal conduct.
Okay, thank you.
When I had the cafe, I used Facebook, and it was amazing how much information I could get, and I could change my business and react to issues. And also, people would give me comments, and I was like, okay, I'll do that more often. But I also had a person actually try to get a group together to come burn the cafe down. That scared me a little, and I thought, okay, I'm going to shut the whole thing down. And I thought, no, the good outweighed the bad at that point, and I figured out who that person was, and I let the police know. But people get in a place when they're home alone, and if they get a couple of friends to join in, it becomes a gang. Dogs do that when they're by themselves. They're not so bullies. They get a couple together, they're bad. But I don't want anything to happen to the communication between the town and the community.
I think, though, as a fail-safe, and after speaking to the professor at UNC School of Government, like you said, an option is, if a conversation gets so off topic or inappropriate, that for that particular post, you can turn off the comments. Now, it's easy to say you don't want to stymie the conversation, but I have been subject of most of these attacks, as well as the mayor and a citizen. And more often than not, these comments have nothing to do with the post and the information you are trying to convey. So as we try to figure out this media policy, your staff has to have some kind of mechanism to say, you know what, this is getting out of hand, and we could turn off the comments for this particular, or delete the post, or do something along those lines to control the town page. And after speaking to the First Amendment expert, that is absolutely on the table and not against their rights. And I would love to see this fake Facebook page sue for their First Amendment rights, because that's who's doing it. It's a fake Facebook page, and they're just causing havoc on an otherwise good place for people to communicate. So we have to try and figure out what are we going to do in the meantime until we get this media policy in place. Yeah, I'm sorry. What are we going to do in the meantime until we get this policy in place?
And to that end, Mayor Pro Tem, something the town manager and I have discussed is we just need to ensure that those comments are maintained in our archive, that they're not deleted for everyone permanently because they are public records. But to your point, something that's important to note is in these discussions, when we open it up to be a public forum, we can't discriminate on the basis of viewpoint. And so that's where we are going to be looking to the council to provide really clear boundaries for staff, because they should not be exercising any element of discretion. It should be a real, you know it when you see it kind of thing, that if someone says, I'm going to come bomb town hall, you know that that's not appropriate commentary and that needs to be removed. What we have to ensure staff is not engaging in is any kind of mediation of viewpoints. And so we're going to try to really walk that line and make sure that everything is respectful and that staff has a clear directive moving forward.
From this point moving forward, or are you waiting for us to adopt?
Once that policy is adopted, staff will have to get direction from the council regarding what they're able to remove and what they're not able to remove. Otherwise, it'll continue as it has been, which is essentially when a comment is posted, the staff's given me a call and saying, how do we handle this? And so we're trying to walk that line and ensure that we're following the intent of what the policy is right now, which is no policy.
So the recommendation for action is for the staff to develop a policy
and we'll
with your guidance, with the input from the council members that have participated. But again, one general concern that I have, because we really have our public information officer responsible for this, to minimize subjective decision on what is slander and what is not. That puts heavy load on her, and she's already overloaded with a lot of work. So we have to be very crystal clear about how to approach this. As Mayor Pro Tem mentioned, we've all been subject to some level of scrutiny in comments, but I honestly believe it's unfair to put that burden on Amber to say what is slander, what is not.
So that's another great point, Mayor. Slander, while it is not protected by the First Amendment, that's really not a you know it when you see it type of issue, because although we do know that threatening to put a bomb in town hall or to kill someone or something that's obscene or pornographic, we know that when we see it, if someone accuses somebody else of criminal conduct or something of that nature, or if they're expressing an opinion that might be viewed by some as a fact but could also be an opinion, we don't know it when we see it. And the determination of whether a statement is slanderous really comes down to what a jury decides, because there has to be an element of falsehood. So when it comes if the conversation devolved into something really unhealthy, we would defer to turning comments off rather than deleting them outright. Is that helpful?
Right, so I guess the action is right now for the staff to work based on all the input,
Yes,
a
sir.
document, and bring it back to the council, right?
Yes, sir.
And one thing to consider, in all my research, and Pender County has one, and there's a whole bunch more that I just didn't include, they take a viewpoint neutral stance and a content heavy stance, meaning if the comments have nothing to do with the content posted and the viewpoints are not in line with a conversation about the content, then it's not necessarily unacceptable, but they could remove it. Normally they don't, unless it's more egregious, but there's a public forum, there's limited public forums, there's a whole bunch of ways we can say this is what our Facebook page is. Facebook page is not a right. We don't have to have a Facebook page. Okay, so we can tailor these guidelines and these rules to meet what we want to do without infringing upon the First Amendment. The First Amendment applies to government entities, I understand that. First Amendment is not unlimited. There's lots of exceptions. You know that, and so do I. Right? Of course, it takes a citizen to sue the town for a First Amendment violation. I get it. But if we have guidelines and we tailor something, and when you comment, you automatically agree to those guidelines, that's what I'm finding. You don't have to say, hey, I agree or don't agree. Then, hopefully, the conversations can naturally fit into what we want to do. And I think if Amber is going to continue being our social media manager, that she needs to have some kind of proper training. Hence why I suggest reaching out to UNC School of Government. Perhaps they can offer something, and perhaps it could be ongoing. But absolutely. So with that, I can make a motion to direct staff and new town manager to work on a social media acceptable use policy to set parameters in which a local government entity can properly police social media without infringing upon any rights.
Second.
Second by Councilman Zabiki.
Hold on, I'm sorry, this recorder just said memory full, so is there we're okay? Okay.
Okay, so we have a second. Any more discussion?
Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
I would also ask for clarification. Does the council want to turn comments off until the policy is in place?
I do not want to turn off the comments until the policy's in place.
Same here.
We don't want to make any changes until the policy is in place. What do you say?
And honestly, I like your policy, so I'm not sure, can I ask the council, have they reviewed what Holly Ridge, what Heather put together?
I have, and I would rather have, not to knock mine or yours, but you bounce it off of the experts to make sure that we are okay. And not the town attorney, but the First Amendment expert up in the School of Government, and she's the one that gave me all this information about social media policies and things like that. So I would like a little more done.
So the motion
Is
was-
staff not comfortable turning off comments when they feel like it's getting a little out of hand? Is it like all or none?
I think the question at this point just comes down to at what juncture do we do that and in what circumstance and at whose direction? And right now, that's not clear. And so the goal is to ensure that it's even-handedly applied in all circumstances. So I think moving forward with a policy that we feel like staff can apply even-handedly, having those conversations with the School of Government and other local municipalities. This was actually a discussion on the LG Lawyers Listserv today. So these conversations are ongoing, and once we do that, we'll bring it back to the council for approval.
So between now and then, can the staff continue to call you, or Heather, call you and say, are we okay to pull this one down?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And will you at times advise turning off comments? Will that be in your arsenal of?
Yes, turning off
suggestions?
comments is absolutely in the arsenal in the circumstance, and my direction to them would be to make sure that we have adequate records of the commentary, and then to turn off the comments if necessary.
And can I add to the motion that we have this policy set by the October meeting,
Absolutely.
possibly?
Okay, so we have a motion directing the staff to develop the policy and bring it back to the council in October. Right, with no other changes. Okay? Is that okay with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we have motion, second, any more discussion?
Was that the way his motion went of what was added on there? Did you put that in your motion?
I asked to add it to the motion. Did you add
As
it?
amended?
Yes, as amended.
As amended, be presented in the October meeting?
Yes, as amended, the October meeting.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we have a motion, we have second, we finished discussion? Anybody? How do you vote?
Yes.
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 Okay, Motion adopted. Okay, item 11C, amended agenda item on Wausau request for council consideration of a support letter for DEQ regarding amendment of EMC final rules for the discharge of highly treated wastewater. So, Town Manager, add context?
I am actually going to turn that over to Councilman Hines. That's more in his wheelhouse.
Okay. Councilman Hines?
This is something that Wausau was a little bit behind on getting it to the town, but the coastal areas, most of the coastal areas along here are want to adopt this resolution. The state, during the last, I think it was the last session, agreed to allow treated up to the level of drinking water treated to be discharged in zero flow creeks. After that, Diener decided to put all these regulations on it where it was almost impossible, and it made it nullified that would even exist. So this resolution was, first came out, I think Brunswick County brought it out, and they've asked the other towns to bring it out so it can come before the legislatures to amend it to the point that the municipalities and the authorities could allow the discharge to be done. So and it was, they wanted the comments in, or the comments from the towns and authorities in by the 17th. Is that what the letter said?
The 12th.
The 12th. So that's where we're at on that.
I would like to point out, we just received it.
Right.
Okay.
That was oversight on Frankie's part, because I think it was talked about before that. And our CEO of Wausau, it was oversight that he didn't get it out.
So you're referencing effluent water, correct?
Treated water.
Effluent water is treated water. Is it sewage water or sewage?
But it's treated to the drinking water standard.
So legislation says Wausau's okay with legislation, what they're saying that we can do, correct?
The legislators passed that it could be done, and then Diener, in their infinite wisdom, decided that we're going to put all these regulations where it can't be done.
So when you say Diener, is that the Environmental Management Commission?
Yes.
So what are they saying they want Wausau to do?
They don't, well, it's not on Wausau, it's the
Or just
whole
in general?
region.
I know, for us it's on Wausau.
This was a generic letter that was sent out. So,
I read the white paper because I have a lot more time on my hands.
Well, I read it too.
It takes from a $50 million budget to a $150 to $200 million budget of 30 miles of pipeline to the Cape Fear River. So instead of using the spray fields that are in existence, they would like to see municipalities create 30 miles of pipeline to go to the Cape Fear, which again, was not the plan at all. And they're asking other water sewer treatment facilities to do the same. So, and of course, this is gonna go on the backs of every citizen to pay for this. And that's the one thing we just gotta remember. And the spray fields are the ones that we have currently in Sneed's Ferry that Wausau's tapping into. They're looking for expansions on that plant. And that's to support the current sewer improvements at the Summer House expansion through North Topsail and through Surf City. So they being the state, DEQ is changing the plan with Wausau and all other water and sewer municipalities. So they're aligning to fight that at the state level because it's a House bill that they're presenting that's coming up. And they just want to say they oppose these changes because ultimately you're just quadrupling costs. And the permitting costs that it takes to put this when it comes to combination, people's land, piping, the infrastructure growth that's already in place, basically this would delay everything in the future and cost the consumer 4 times the amount of money.
well, with us, the closest one to it is Surf City. Surf City, they've got their discharge out, or their spray fields out on 50. And the swamp out there, when it gets dry, it's detrimental to the swamp to be dry, so this will help them to discharge their waste, their treated waste onto that wetland and help the wetlands too. Otherwise, they're going to have to, like he said, they're going to have to pipe to the Cape Fear River 30 miles to expand their plant. And it's not just Surf City, it's a lot of these, Brunswick County, a lot of these other places are in the same condition. So Wausau's just asking all the towns in Onslow County to tie onto this so we can agree that we want to support this.
What's the environmental reason that the North Carolina Environmental Management Commission is is changing. You see what I'm trying to say here?
You want short
Is there an
answer?
environmental
You
reason?
want short answer? Because they're Diener and they don't want anything done on the eastern part of the state.
No, that's a political answer. I need an
I mean,
environmental
our-
answer.
Look, our legislators have agreed and passed it. The legislatures that we vote in, we don't vote Diener in. If you've got a blade of grass that they think's a wetland, they're gonna sign it off as a wetland. That's the way Diener works. And this is, they've overrid basically what our legislators that we voted in have said, we can do.
I'm just trying to figure out if they're upping the standard of what kind of water is being released. Is that what they're doing? They're saying, no, you can't release this treated water. It has to be to this standard. Is that what they're saying?
No.
Or they're just saying, hey, we don't want you to do this. We just want you to build a
correct.
pipeline and change,
We want you
it
to
costs
do
more
a
money.
Yeah, the standard is there. It can only be released if it's at a standard, even if they allow it to do in, zero stream flows. The standard's already there. They just don't want it done.
I wish we had more time to talk to
Well,
people, to do
I wish we
research,
did too.
to figure things out and see where it is. Because hearing from you guys, that's great, but I would love to hear from both sides, our representatives. What are they talking about? So,
But-
I'll tell you right now, I don't support this.
That's what I was
this
telling you. The
resolution.
representatives are the ones that voted to let it be done. So if you're talking about getting in touch with our representatives, they've already agreed to have it done.
And Jeff Hudson's involved as well, prior CEO with other municipalities, because
Yeah, other municipalities are.
they're just doing what they can to protect the consumer and the current infrastructure that's in place.
People scoff at the fact that it's to drinking water level, but I'm gonna tell you, after it's treated, and I've been to the plant at Hampstead, and after it's treated, they can show you it's almost 99% pure. I wouldn't drink it, but they spray it on ski slopes up in the mountains. People ski on it, and naturally when they fall down, they eat the snow. So, but I've seen it at the plant at Hampstead, and it's just as crystal clear. Fish are swimming in it. It's just as crystal clear as it can be. Matter of fact, a lot of places are going to start using it as water reuse, and I think that's one of the plans at Hampstead plant is they're going to sell the treated to use for irrigation purposes. So,
And we are going to be aligned with other municipalities on this.
it's all been sent to all of them in Onslow County.
So what is the impact of rejecting this?
What is what?
What is the impact of not accepting the recommendation?
It would just be one of the ones that don't go along with it. I mean, the objection is for the East Coast, it's going to, which I know some people are going to be happy that I say this, but it's going to limit growth.
So you are our Wausau representative, you recommend approving this?
Yes. Do you want me to make the motion?
Sure.
How's it phrased? What's the,
The recommendation is approve or support of the DEQ letter regarding the amendment of EMC rules on discharge of highly treated wastewater.
that's the motion I make.
Second.
Second. Any more discussion? Okay, how do you vote from Pat?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Should have known.
Okay. We are done with our item 11. Item 12, we are back to people that have signed up to address the council. Again, town manager will call your name. Please state your name and address. You have 3 minutes. This segment is not intended to hear citizen comment regarding town, it is intended to hear citizen comment regarding town matters. The council may or may not have any additional comments on that. As mentioned before, we appreciate the audience cooperation in complying with meeting procedures. So, town manager?
The first is Mr. Dave Mosey, if he would still like to, I know you were, okay. Mr. Mosey, would you like to speak speak from this one? Would it be easier to speak from this one?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dave Mosey. I live at 815 Lennox Drive in Holly Ridge. A quick comment with regard to your potential policy associated with social media. It occurs to me in the discussions that occurred, I feel bad for the public information officer, since that person is going to have to monitor and make decisions based on the criteria that the council has come up with. One quick question to you. There are many, many, many companies out there right now that can provide small modules in AI to be able to put comments in specific buckets on things that are appropriate and not appropriate, and it would save the public information officer from getting gray hair like I've got. That's all I have. Thank you very much.
Yes, Facebook has that too. They have the keyword.
Yeah, keywords.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you,
That's
Mr.
something we can look at.
Councilman, it's worth its weight in gold, especially when it comes to something like this. Yes, you can't delete comments from anyone, I understand that, but AI will provide you the mechanisms with the policies that you set in place to be able to do this automatically and save this person a great deal of heartache and pain. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Moose. Next.
Christina Asbury. Mayor. Mayor.
My PowerPoint timer isn't working, so I have a timer on my phone.
Duly noted. Christina Asbury, 308 Folkestone Road, Holly Ridge. Good evening, Mayor and Council, and thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I wanted to address the proposed social media acceptable use policy you're considering. It's clear that we do need standards for civil, respectful dialogue on the town's official Facebook page, but any policy will only be as strong as the example set by leadership. If the town sets rules for the citizens, then council members themselves should also commit to some standards. That includes avoiding inflammatory posts, practicing restraint before meetings. Too often, positions on agenda items are posted publicly before all the facts are presented to you and before citizens have their chance to weigh in on those issues. Leaders should not render decisions ahead of the process. Public hearings should be meaningful, not just a formality for us to go through as an audience. The public deserves confidence that their voices matter in these meetings and that council members also approach each hearing with an open mind. I'd encourage the council to consider pairing any new social media policy with a clear code of conduct for elected officials, one that applies not only to the town's page, but also to the public-facing accounts of those in office when they're speaking in an official capacity. Transparency measures like keeping and publishing moderation logs of deleted comments would also go a long way to reassure the community that moderation is applied fairly and consistently. We're expected to engage respectfully with our government. It's only fair that our leaders model the same civility. A strong policy applied on both sides can help build trust and keep Holly Ridge conversations productive and professional. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Asbury.
Taryn Carranza. Okay. Dorothy Royal.
Dorothy Royal, 2101 Victory Lap Lane. In the last 40 minutes, there have been 9 negative comments about Josh Patty put on the Facebook pages of only the town of Holly Ridge. These are nasty, these are cruel, these are mean posts. They definitely are pinpointing. Please take a moment, look at your phones, because my phone's been blasting up with people sending them to me going, what's going on in the meeting that in the last 40 minutes, 9 posts have showed up for another fake profile. And as far as the First Amendment goes, if you read all the First Amendment, the most important thing they talk about when it comes to a government base, that it represents those in the government, not the people in the community. So when myself, who is currently not in the government, when my husband is currently not in the government, are getting blasted on the town's Facebook pages, that's not protected by the First Amendment. I hope you understand that. That is slander. That is defamation. And every time somebody in the town hall sits there and lets those comments fester, especially over a weekend. I love that one. It really irritates me because I demand better as a taxpayer, as a business owner, and as a resident of this town. Greg Hines, stop rolling your eyes at me. I have had enough of that. And as far as the whole First Amendment thing goes, you want to know how you get the word out to the community? If only you had a local newspaper. Wow, wouldn't that be great? Well, you do. And for $300 a month, you could put your buzz in the paper. But for some reason, because I'm affiliated with that paper, oh, let's forget that we actually have a Topsail Times newspaper with 5,000 in-print copies and 2,500 online subscribers. And it's free to anybody who wants to read a copy. So instead of sitting back there and pretending you want to get the word out, why don't you realize you have an asset right here in town that you have ignored, and you act like it's no big deal? Well, let me tell you something. The events of this town that I do put in my paper are well received. Maybe you should make note of that. There's businesses in this town who have told me they can't afford ads, but when they cancel their ads, they call me back and they go, oh my God, I have no customers now. So the newspaper does make a big difference. And I'll tell you, another thing that irritates me is the inability to bring a document before the council that is complete and right. You're going to sell a tract of land and the contract is how many year old, Phil? You said 4 years old is the document they used? Come on, people. Nobody in this room would be dumb enough to bring a committee, some kind of a commitment to purchase land on a real estate contract that is 4 years old and lacking half the information that the council required. Shame on everybody in this room that thought that that was okay to do. And here's the worst part. You tell all of us here, well, don't worry about it. We'll fix it later. Well, fix it later? That doesn't work. Fix it now. Don't present things until they're ready. That whole thing about the annexation, that application was never legally filled out. It should never have come forward for a vote. The owner of the property, based on North Carolina state law, must be on that application, and you know that. The owner was never on the application. The buyer was on the application, who is a third-party buyer, who, if you talk to the people there, they say, oh, they never really had an executed contract. I demand better. And fix your stupid timer. I mean, come on, you can't get the timer to work?
I'd like to make a comment since you just brought up the 4 years. And Dorothy, you know, you guys have been real estate and general contractor, but the contract was given by the buyer client. We have to receive it from the buyer client. Us as a town, that's why we're correcting it, because we can't control what the buyer gives. They're not party to the town of Holly Ridge. So it's no different than any other buyer client, any other residential, commercial transaction. We have to go with what's presented, and that's why we're correcting.
Could it not have been requested to be put back on the right?
All right, no discussion.
Yeah, not until we voted on it first. That's what we're going to do.
Next. Heather.
Richard Royal.
The whole part,
No, with this light.
We're doing this.
For the light.
the whole part of the annexation,
Can you state your address, sir?
Richard Royal, 127 Sound Road.
127 Sun Road. Thank you.
The whole part of the annexation that most people are actually getting upset about, if it's not clear enough, is that everyone feels like it's rushed. There's no homework done on it. There's nothing out there for us to read of actually what we're going to do or how it's actually going to affect us. Every time we turn around, it seems like it's getting pushed or moved. It's still not solidified of exactly what we're looking at or how much it's going to impact us. There is no way that you can build this many homes when homes don't pay the tax dollars that you think they do. If you actually review your numbers, they're not right. How many trash cans do we actually have? We just had a trash can. So how many trash cans? Around 2,000? Somewhere around there?
Please continue. Yeah, this is another question.
Yeah, well,
Please
it
continue.
kind of is, but the point is, we don't have any more residents than we have trash cans. And I know the trash cans that we ordered is not up to 3,000. So there's no way those numbers work. When we annex in another piece that's going to be the same size that we are already as a town, there's no way our fire department, our police department, or anything's ever going to catch up. The money's not there. It just will never be there. We're going to stay behind the 8 ball forever.
and you sell it as growth, and you sell it as money, but it's not. It's just not going to. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Earl. Heather, next.
There is no more.
I'm sorry?
There's no one else.
Thank you all for your presentations. We're going to go to item 13, and that is council member comments. Let's start with Councilman Zabiki.
Okay, about the schools, all right? Attending the meetings out there at Burton Park in the Skills Center. In August, the Onslow County Schools requested the school board if they could put out bids for an architect and someone to construct the new school, which is going to be down here in southern Onslow County. We're not sure where it's going to be built. In the September meeting, the school board approved Pinnacle Architecture, and they're the one that's going to design it, and they're going to build it also. And once again, we don't know where it's going to be. The hope is that they break ground by April of '26. It'll take 2 years to build the school. When we attend the meetings for the county commissioners, which is also Burton Park, Holly Ridge, not Holly Ridge, but the Stump Sound area and the Dixon schools right now are the priority. They are the priority. The middle school, the plan is to add about 7 more classrooms out there. And the high school, a new auditorium, a new cafeteria, and probably 7 to 8 more classrooms. Now that's way off. And over the next 10 years, as I said the last meeting, at least $400 million is going to be spent on building about 10 different schools throughout the county, when we have grown from 2010 to now about 100,000 people. So a lot of money is going to be going to build the schools, and of course that money comes out of you, the taxpayer's pocket. Thank you.
Councilwoman Hall.
Couple of things. So glad to see everybody here tonight. I wanted to make a comment about the beginning of the industrial park, and I thought that was an interesting comment, Dorothy, about putting other stuff in the industrial park. But I wanted to remind you, when you're working on a project or you're working on a process in this town, we start at a place of a need. And one of the things that we saw when the industrial park became an opportunity was jobs in Holly Ridge. We've talked about it for years, that people get up and they leave Holly Ridge to go to work. So when they're in Jacksonville or Wilmington or Burgaw or even Surf City, Sneeze Ferry, and they're working, on their way home they bank there because it's closer and the banks are closed when they get here. And they get their food on the way home because that's what we kind of do when we work. And so we didn't have jobs in Holly Ridge. So we actually spent a long time creating the criteria of what was going to be allowed in the industrial park, and somebody like a warehouse couldn't go in there because they had one employee. It had to be a setting that had, I can't remember the numbers because it's been quite a while, but at least 50 or 60 jobs. And we wanted jobs in Holly Ridge. That was our focus at the time. Now, when you're focusing something at the time, doesn't mean that 10 years later it was the best idea and you shouldn't change your path a little bit. But at the time, that's what we were focused on, industrial park. And there was a couple of people we had to turn down because they didn't meet the criteria. And another part of the criteria was that the person investing in the land actually provided us a plan of where they were going to be in a year and in 2 years, how many more employees they were going to bring in. And so as they would ask for a plot of land, we would compare what they had to our criteria. And that's how the industrial park came. We didn't open it up for restaurants, or it was an industrial park. It wasn't a place for people to hang out. It was a place for people to go work. Now, maybe the flavor can change with the school going over there. I was kind of funny about the school going in because I was on the initial part where it was going to be only industry. And now we're going to have people there at night, and maybe industry is that conducive? But I was reminded it was going to bring jobs, and it was also going to support the jobs that were there. So that was something I wanted to bring up about your comment. again, when you're in the middle of a project. So at that time, we talked about jobs, and that was important. And then the next, all along, we were talking about recreation. And we couldn't get off our feet, we couldn't get started on recreation because we were focused on the industrial. And we've been able to get off the starting gate now with recreation and some of the other amenities in town. So know that you can't do everything at one time. And that while you're working on something, you're working on it with an objective in mind. And if the objective changes, or the plan changes, or your town changes, you got to adjust. But it doesn't mean that the work you did at the beginning was wrong. And other than that, thanks again for everybody coming out.
Thank you, Ms. Hall. Councilor Masiano?
Good evening. I'm just curious, how many do we have online?
Right now, I've got 15, but the total we had was 17 for at least an hour.
Okay. I was curious because, Dorothy brought up the comments negative and with fake accounts. So obviously, it's somebody that's in this room or online that's watching this right now. So please stop. Like, this is ridiculous. And then I also watched too many movies in my life where it's called self-sabotage. And sometimes it could be anyone in this room doing something as evil just to show light to make it sound something that's not. So I agree, we need to make changes because we don't know who's doing this. And it's not fair to Josh at all. And so for that, I'm sorry, Josh, it shouldn't happen. But it just makes me mad because you can be targeted in any way, shape, or form for any reason. You guys come after me because I'm a realtor. I don't care. But reality is this is the way it is in society. It's unfortunate that 50% of Americans are going to hate you if you're in politics, no matter what. And we have to sit up here and just take it and smile. And Josh doesn't need to take it. And I'm telling you, if you're online and you're doing this, if you're sitting in this room and doing this because you know we have this meeting, you should knock this off because we are going to do what we can to make sure facts are posted. And it's just sad. The negative comments have got to stop. As it comes to the annexation, we brought it up 1,000 times this evening. I just want to talk about it. That last 2 meetings ago was just phase 1 for just looking into it, seeing if it's possible. Swansboro just shut down 300. I don't know if you saw the news on it. It was an apartment complex. I get it. It's a point of contention. What happened 2 months ago was just phase 1 of that process. There's a million different phases. The Liberty Festival, this is the one thing I think we need to shout out to Rachel, Amber, Heather, Mike, the town staff. Everybody was out there all day, setting up, taking down, and it just seemed like there was a good, positive energy in the environment. And I got to give Josh credit for Touch a Truck, because this is something he mentioned like 6 months ago, saying, hey, let's add to it. And I do think that was a great asset for the kids to take pictures. So thank you to the staff for the Liberty Festival, and I look forward to the next one. And that's it, man. Thanks for being here, and I appreciate the understanding of how we're going through things, because it's definitely a painful process.
Councilman Hines?
Yeah, I've heard all the negative comments that are made about this person or that person. Nobody's talking about negative comments that are being placed toward our staff. Comments about, oh, they're not competent, oh, they're not this, they need to be gone. How do you think they feel, and they can't even defend themselves? We're elected. It's expected we're going to get shots at us, but these people don't. These people don't deserve it, and they get it day in and day out, and they sit there and they take it and they try to keep a smile on their face, but it's tough on them. And I can understand it. If any one of y'all in your jobs constantly heard somebody say, all right, you're going to lose your job, especially if I get in this position or I get in that position, how are you going to feel? To me, we've got the best staff we've ever had in this town. And I think they deserve some appreciation and some respect that they're not getting from people, and you can roll your eyes at me all you want to. But they deserve the respect they get, and I think that's what they're going to be. And I'm going to defend them as long as I'm here, because I feel like they need defending because they can't do it themselves. So start giving respect to them. How about that?
Please.
Chief?
Respect.
Chief?
Please.
Police? We have a problem here, sir. Can you calm this down, sir?
I'm through.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem. Go for it.
So thank you all for coming out. I'm going to change gears just a minute. So as we close, the election's coming up. It's your job to stay informed and do your due diligence. What I mean by that is the choices made in this elections will directly shape the future of our town. With 3 council seats and the mayor up, It's essential that you as residents take the time to learn about the candidates, their priorities, and their vision for Holly Ridge, and not just succumb to the loudness, the rumors, the attacks, and other things like that. Getting to know who is running ensures that your vote is not just a ballot cast, but a meaningful decision made with a clear understanding of the people who seek to serve our community. So please pay attention. Do your homework. There's 2 months left. Read, ask questions. Come to the town hall tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Ask your questions and get the answers you deserve. And as always, reach out to me or whoever. I'm more than willing to have a conversation. Happy to do it. So thanks for coming out, and I hope to see you tomorrow night.
Mayor, just one point of clarification. Tomorrow's meeting is here in the community center. It's called a town hall, but it is going to be held here.
Yes, I was gonna, right.
Yes, I meant the meeting, not the place.
Yeah. Okay, again, thanks everybody for coming here. I have a little announcement to make, and it takes a little bit of background, so I'm gonna just try to go very quickly. About 6 months ago, I went and met with Senator Lazara, and I told him we have a problem. The shopping center development relies on a traffic light at Drag Strip Road and Highway 17. He was nice enough to fund it for about $750,000, put in a budget that's going to be really processed in September. So what was remaining is getting DOT, Transportation Department, basically DOT, to approve the traffic light installation. And it's called the Transportation Impact Analysis that we're waiting for, and they were dragging their feet for the past 6 months. So finally, after another discussion with Senator Lazara, last night, we got approval from the Department of Transportation to install the traffic light at the corner of Drag Strip Road and Highway 17, which is a prerequisite to shopping center development to get started. That's a great news because potentially the shopping center could have a number of things that are missing here, like a grocery store. But again, I can't get ahead of the negotiation between the developer and the businesses that are doing that. So that's great news. Hopefully we go forward with that. And Heather and I have a similar meeting later this week with an entity that's interested to implement, to develop a healthcare facility. But the healthcare facility has told us again, I've mentioned this before, that we don't have enough population for them to be profitable. Of course, from my point of view, that's a shame on our country that healthcare system want to be profitable before they implement a unit, but that's the reality of our country. Anyway, that would be good. We really appreciate the passion of everybody and the very passionate comments with all the members here. As Heather mentioned, 6 months ago, we had town hall meeting in 3 places, in Summer House, Neighbors Holly Ridge, and we had one here. Everybody provided feedback that having a town hall is positive. So our semi-annual town hall is scheduled for tomorrow. Of course, because of all the passionate discussion regarding the annexation, that may dominate all the questions, but it's really a meeting of citizens to ask any questions about anything regarding the town. And the council members hopefully will be there, the department heads will be there. We'll have question cards. So we follow a process just to be sort of a structured process. We'll have question card, answer all the questions, stay as long as necessary to answer every question by somebody either in the council or the department head or the town manager. It is not a campaign meeting, so I'm going to try to not, I'm going to try to stay out of answering questions because I don't want it to appear like a campaign meeting. But it's really for the citizens to get their questions answered. So again, thank you. Going to item 14, Town Attorney, comments?
Thank you, Mayor. I want to just start off by saying it is a great privilege to serve this board, and I appreciate the trust that you have in me. I don't take that lightly. Something that you heard this evening is my ethical obligation to provide you with offers, but I want to accept the feedback that I've heard from you this evening about when we have commentary or changes that we propose to contracts that are presented to you, providing you with the original as well as the proposed modified version for your consideration. I think that's a great piece of feedback, and I'm sure staff take that to heart and will implement that moving forward. Another thing that you heard this evening was about the potential annexation of that property that was discussed last month. And I just want to call out for you, there was a comment made this evening about that not being properly executed. North Carolina general statutes provide that public utilities, when they own property, are not obligated to execute annexation petitions. And so with a public utility authority being the owner of the real estate, they could appoint an agent to execute that annexation petition on their behalf. So wanted to address that point so that this council is informed of why the petition may have been submitted that way. Thank you.
Thank you, Corey. Okay, going to item 15. I'm going to just read the upcoming schedule. Wednesday, September 10th, the semi-annual committee town hall at 6 p.m. here. Tuesday, September 16th, voter registration day. That means voter registration day from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. located in the Holly Ridge Community Center. September 16th, the planning board meeting begins at 6 p.m. Will be held at the town council chambers. Tuesday, September 18th, B-City USA meeting starting at 4 p.m. located at town council chambers. Sunday, September 21st, Holly Ridge Open Air Market starting at 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the community center. Monday, September 22nd, blood drive from 10 to 2 p.m. located at the community center. Thursday, September 25th, the land use committee meeting, 2 p.m. in the town's council chamber. Friday, September 26th, movies in the park. And Friday, October 24th, movies in the park. So we are going to go to item 16. We will hold a closed session after this open meeting for the purpose of maintaining attorney-client privilege as permitted by North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11, paragraph A3. The audience is welcome to stay until we come back, but you're also free to leave.
Mayor, can I mention something about the announcements? The fire department, you're going to have something the 11th, celebrate 9/11, is that correct, at the fire department? And we don't want to forget what 9/11 means to any of us. It's kind of, as time goes by, we kind of forget a little bit about it, but we need to keep that in our focus because it could happen again any day.
Thank you.
So that starts at what time, Brandon?
11:30.
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock. I think a lot of people will be there, Frank, Brandon. All right, motion to enter closed session?
Motion.
Motion?
Second.
Second by Councilor Massiano. Any discussions? How you vote?
Yes.
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 Okay, we are entering a closed session.